Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So on today's video we'll be discussing the advantage and the disadvantage of both two most prominent PvP team or meta in the current PvP content, which is Venaka and Seol Ah. So before we jump right into it, I'll be telling you guys the announcement made by the Brave 19 of the Brave 9 changes of the world merge delay. So basically they are delaying the world merge, which supposed to be coming in this 25 February 25th, right? um so it was delayed to March 3rd or March 4th, in which the day of the server merge will be implemented. So because of that delay, they decided to give us an apology compensation, which is 300 diamonds, gold 300,000, 300 horseshoe once per day. For 7 days, we'll be getting 300 diamonds times 7, gold times 7, horseshoe times 7 if you log in every day. So 2,100 diamonds, 2.1 million gold, and 2,100 horseshoe, which is quite a huge significant amount. Okay, if you log in at least once during this compensation period, which is the February 24th to the March 3rd, we'll be getting one 5-star mercenary selection tickets, one 5-star booster, and 10 red slime, only once per account. So also for the tier reward change, they will not be um, any changes till the March 2nd for the normal arena to the novice arena. And for the world boss group reset compensation, it will be delayed by 1 week. Guild War will happen as usual, but and the events will be extended to one additional hour for the event dungeon. Um, and also the Rune Temple Horseshoe event and the Enhanced Discount event will proceed until the next maintenance, which is on the 4th of March. Okay, basically this is the gist of their apology, and this is we'll be getting more compensation in the new for this 2,100 diamonds, which is a lot. Okay, so um, let's just jump into it. So basically, if you look at your arena, guys, basically most of the top tier players, as you can see, are either using Venaka or Seol Ah. I don't think most. I think most top 10 players are using um, Venaka, but some are still using Seol Ah. So on today's video, we'll be discussing the advantage and the disadvantage of both meta. So Venaka Meta, which has just jumped came in the last patch, the last companion patch, basically have advantages. First is that those teams are consisting of a lot of warriors, as you can see, most of them are warriors. And if you are using warriors, means that you will be able to hit faster than your enemy. So warriors are able to hit on your first turn, while mage need to charge. So Fenaka have the advantage of hitting first than the Seol Ah Meta. And also Fenaka herself activation skill is very cheap. So basically this skill will be implemented to all ally warrior um, without any activation cost. So basically Venaka is very to cheaper to be used instead of Seola, but that is not without its disadvantage, which are first of all, um, Venaka alone doesn't really provide um, much support if you compare it to Seol Ah, because first of all, um, Venaka buff are only 4 tiles, while Seol Ah is aura to the whole team. So for Venaka user or team, you basically needs more supporter instead of using Venaka alone. So you basically need an additional support, and in this Prince Noctis formation case, he uses Asmode buff because it provides more crit rate and more critical damage to the whole team. So basically you will need additional support. You can't only use Venaka alone. You can use Ravi here, you can use Asmode and any other supporters. Okay, next is that um, Venaka is weak to buff prohibition because on my last video I show you guys that this permanent dance or the aura basically will be re-implemented to your team. So if your warriors get buff prohibit, and when Venaka re-implement this buff, those warrior will not be able to receive the dance of battlefield buff, meaning that um, Venaka will not be able to save them using the dance of sacrifice skill. Um, Alec, if got buff prohibition when hit by any ordinary warriors with no battlefield dance buff, I don't think they will be able to survive. Um, that is the weakness of the Venaka form, and on the Underground Arena, I do think that it is better to use um, basically Seol Ah formation, because if you use Venaka, you will be showing your warriors turn so that the enemies will be able to predict and countermeasure your formation, because as you can see, when warriors attack, the turns switches to the enemy. So um, Fenaka does have their disadvantage and advantage, but Fenaka's advantage, I do think that Fenaka advantage overwhelms the its disadvantage, because you basically can mitigate those disadvantage. Okay, so we'll be talking about Sela. I'll check on the DX code formation. I think no, he uses Venaka. Okay, let's go for A2FM. So he basically still uses um, this formation, which is formation that uses Sela. So as you can see, Sela have her advantages. Um, Her aura activates one turn after the battle begins, and this aura cannot be buff prohibit. First of all, the buff aura also countermeasures Ilia, which reduce stats. So if you have 100% warriors, 100% defense units such as in your defenders, or you need huge amount of defense on your defender, um, Solar basically give defenses which countermeasure the stats reduction by the enemy Celia. Another thing is that she gives huge amount of attack boost, critical rate, and critical damage to your whole team, while also giving attack interference immunity to the whole team. Meaning that um, she doesn't care about buff tiles, she give all her buff to your whole team. And she herself also boosts one unit, basically giving a huge or insane amount of crit damage and crit rate. Some sort of like um, Veronia, but with the aura, she is crazy good. But She has her disadvantage, of course. The disadvantage are her very huge activation cost. So, Seol Ah have two buff, offensive stats buff and the survival aura. So for the survival aura to be activated, you need two warriors. Sorry, two defenders. Um, so that your team gets the defense boost and the regen. And this doesn't affect or cannot be implemented on the warriors. So your warriors will not have extra defense and regen. Another thing is that in order to get this very huge stats boost, you basically have to have four magicians in your team. Meaning that if you want to fully utilize her kit, you have to waste four slots for your magician, two slots for your defenders, and one slot for herself. So meaning that you will be wasting seven slots and you will have only two extra slots. Another thing is that because Seol Ah team mainly focuses on magicians, as you can see here, she will not be able to her whole team, sorry, her main attack team will not be able to hit a very insane amount of damage on first one because herself will only have, as you can see here, on the Seol Ah team they can only use one or two warriors here, meaning that she could not fully utilize her team on turn 1 instead of Venaka, which mainly use warriors, meaning that they will be able to hit on the first turn. That's the disadvantage of Seol Ah. But most or both of them, the Venaka and the Seol Ah team, have same weaknesses, which is direct damage. So Venaka cannot reduce the damage of the direct damage. Um, Also, Seol Ah cannot reduce the direct damage because direct damage pass through defense and any sort of damage reduction. So that's the advantage and disadvantage of both team. But currently, if you look at the top arena team, most of them are using Venaka, as you can see. Because Venaka give the first move advantage, meaning that you will be able to kill some or most units on your enemy team if they uses Seol Ah team. But once the Seol Ah team reaches round 2, I do think that your Venaka team will be wrecked. But so yeah, both of them have advantage and disadvantage. For me myself, I am still using my Seol Ah team. So because I don't have the resources to invest on the Venaka's companion. So yeah, that is all for today's video. Please do comment if you think that if you have something to add on the advantage and disadvantage of both team. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. It's up to you guys whether to decide on which team you wanna invest on. But for me, if I were a new player, um, I would basically suggest you guys to invest on Vinaka's team because it is cheaper to use. But if you are already invested in a lot of mages in the game, I do suggest you guys to stay on Zell team or switch slowly to Venaka's team if you really want to fight for the basically the PvP content and compete within the top 10 of the PvP. Okay, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
お前はもう死んでいる。